Okay, welcome again to quality management, and here we will talk about the ISO. ISO is very well known accreditation body. It stands for International Standards Organization, provides the credibility to the organizations in global market to maintain consistency and quality across industries and nations, check and balance the need to be in one place. ISO certification ensure the management system, the manufacturing, both service and manufacturing process has all the requirements for standardization and quality assurance. ISO certification exists in many areas of industry like medical devices, energy, risk, safety, human resources, all that. We would see it also in the coming slides. The main purpose we can say about the ISO is from certain standards that will guarantee the quality, safety, efficiency of the product, the service, and the system, and the continuous improvement in the system. Basically, the ISO is relying or based on the total quality management principles, which we covered previously in this course. And actually, the TQM it's another image to the ISO, but since the ISO is one of the organizations, or let's say is the authentic body to make the certificate to organizations or companies or manufacturing systems. That's why we cannot say that it's a method. So that's why when we talk about the ISO is just another view to the TQM principles that we covered previously. As we will see in the coming slides, we will give briefly what are the certificates or the different type of ISO standards. There are different standards, and then we will talk about how the concept of the ISO is similar to the TQM principles. The ISO standards is the one that is the most famous and is the most common to be applied in many organizations, ISO 9001 certification, which is describe how to create quality management system. And here is the very, when you will look to that in the coming slides, you will see how it's very closely to the TQM. It helps company deliver quality products and services. It emphasizes continuous improvement, and please here highlight to on this one here, emphasize on the continuous improvement. Basically, ISO, it doesn't guarantee that maybe you are the best quality product in the market. It doesn't have to be like that, because competitors, they can, all of them get the same thing. They can get the ISO 9001, but when you have a system that assure you produce a product and you produce service after the sale, and you continuously improve this process and how you interact with your customer, then here is the ISO certify you and give you that you already fulfilled these pillars for the quality. Continuous improvement and senior management method that are shared across the organization. So this is ISO 9001, is the most famous certification. Then we have ISO 27001, which is focus on the information security. This is more of certain organization where is the management systems of informations and technology needed, technical part of the information has to be managed in a certain way. Establish the policy for those, and the processes has to be followed when you are dealing with the security controls or information systems. Legal, physical, and technical requirements for IT security. So it's going to be for certain divisions sometimes not the whole organization, unless if the organization work in that field. Then we have ISO 45001 certification, which is the ISO developed that for the workplace occupational health and safety management. This is very closely, you maybe when you take safety course or ergonomics course, you will talk about the safety, occupational health and safety, and this certificate is related to that part only. Similar to OSHA, if you have heard about OSHA, also OSHA, they have, this is another organization which is focused only on the occupational health and safety management system. And in the we have the fourth one here, the 22,000 certification. It's focused on the food safety. And in the ISO 14001, it focused on the environment, the law enforcement, the protection for the buildings. So as you can see here, as we go more in the certification, as we see more specific certification to specific models or to specific areas where the organization focus on a specific let's say nature of business. Here when we talk, it's about the environmental and the buildings, and when we talk about the food safety, like the FDA we have here in the 22,000. So not all the organization or not all the certification can be applied to all organization. That's why when we talked about 9001, is very general and is talk about the quality management system in the overall of the organization, and that's why it's very famous to be used. We have more certificates of ISO. Here, the next page, we will go over more. The 13,485, it's medical devices certification for ISO. Organization that involve in designing, production, installation for medical devices, they can approach this standard. The ISO 26,000 is for the social responsibility, and ISO 5001 or 50,001. This is for the energy. And the last one here we have is 31,000 certificate. It's for the risk management. And here is a brief image, shows the different type of ISO certification. We will go over here the ISO 9001. We'll give you just briefly about it, and you will see now from the coming slides how it's very similar to the TQM principle. And all what you do is you apply those, and then you fill the forms in your organization and you request for the visits. So the auditors from ISO, they will come and check that you apply your QMS or the quality management systems in the organization as it should be. Over the time, the ISO 9001 is being changed over the time from 1987 to the latest version, considering that the procedure only from the beginning, then the preventive actions, then added the process approach like PDCA, the Plan, Do, Check, and Act, which is the loop for continuous improvement. It becomes in the 2000, where you see most of the continuous improvement methods that's been in light in that time between the 90s and 2000. Then this continues until the latest version in 2015, which consider also the risk and opportunities in the practices of the ISO 9001 in the organization. Principle of ISO 9001, there are 7 principles, and they are very similar, as you will see now, to the total quality management principles. The customer focus, always in the quality, when you talk about quality, the customer becomes number one usually. Without your customer, your reputation will not be built. The customer, where is either individual or entities, at the end is the one who measures that you are giving or a good service or no, or you're providing a good quality products or not. Leadership, engagement of people, process approach, improvement, evidence-based decision making, relationship management. Over the time, ISO 9001 from 2008 to 2015 is being changed. As you can see, in 2008, they have these are the list of sections when you go and apply for the certificate. You have the introduction, the scope, the normative references for the organization, terms and definitions, quality management system that is being used, management responsibility for all the divisions and departments and all the subdivisions, resources management, how you manage your resources, whether it's money, material, products, supplier, all that, product realization, measurement, analysis, and improvement. In 2015, it's been expanded by, and some of those items like management responsibility, it's split to leadership and planning, because there are different tasks when you talk about the leadership, how you build the mission. You remember all these? We have talked about them, and we talked about the TQM, building the mission, the vision. Leader has to have a clear objective to the organization, where they are heading to after 5 years, what are their goals, strategic goals, and this is linked to the planning. When you have these goals, how you plan to achieve them, what are the action, what are the projects, what are the initiatives you have taken to achieve your goals that you have set it. Also, the measurement, analysis, and improvement is being split to two: the performance evaluation and the improvement. Performance evaluation is where is the measure part and where is the analysis part. The improvement, what are the actions you have taken after you have measured and analyzed your system, and then how you improve it and develop it. They have also did some changes here, like for example, they have the support operations. There are some slight changes in the sections of the ISO 9001 from 2008 to 2015. Moving back to our principles of the ISO 9001, starting with the customer focus. The primary focus of the organization is to meet the customer requirement, as easy as that. If your customer is satisfied, then you are going to do well. You are going to generate profits. Your reputation will be higher. The principle is about understanding the need of your existing and future customer, both your current customers and your future customer, what you expect you provide to them to attract them to your product or service. The organization grows only if they create value for the customer. The customer is number one in the total quality management or the ISO applications, especially when now we're talking about the ISO 9001. Leadership. Leaders of organization establish the direction. As we say, they build the purpose of this organization. What are the goals? What are the mission? What is the objectives? Create and sustain growth and values to the organization. They establish the culture, the trust, the integrity. The people, they have a good environment in the organization because or due to the leadership. Moving on to the third principle, engagement of people. All people within the organization must be competent, empowered, engaged in delivering value. from top to down. People, they should have been communicating with each other, decision taking by everyone, everyone's opinion there. Everyone is trained the same and empowered in the organization. No people think they are um, um, outside of this organization, that like no one is taking our opinion here. Engaging with people, improve understanding the organization quality objectives, enhance actively improvement of the people by also providing trainings to them. Process approach. The process approach, it's a management strategy. When we talk about how you apply the process approach, you need to have the management tools, like management control, interaction between the processes, the input and output, manage all the activities in the organization. This is the principle for number 4. The 5, and I think we have covered this widely in the course, the improvement ongoing has to be there in the organization. Is not a destination, it's a journey. The quality improvement, you never have it as a destination. ما هي محطة للوصول انك توصل للتطوير، هي رحلة مستمرة دائمة في organization. Evidence-based decision making. In this case here, or in this principle, we ensure that the accessibility to accurate and reliable data and use appropriate method to make the decisions. Decisions are not made there arbitrarily. When you are going to change in some parts of, let's say, of this course, after you get the feedback, after you do the measurement of the student's assessment, then based on these data, you make the decisions for improving the course, or making the decision to change this topic or change this prerequisite for that course, and so on. So the decision has to be taken from a data and analysis. Relationship management. Organizations manage their relationship with their all suppliers. This principle is about identifying your suppliers and how you build a long-time relationship with them, and you manage the cost, optimize the resources, and create value for the organization through your suppliers. Long and short term, definitely, relationship, it has to be built between you and the suppliers and vendors that you are dealing with. These are all for the ISO 9001, the principles. I hope that gave you briefly what you expect to see and implement in your organization when you are seeking for the ISO certificate. When you are going to apply for the certificate, they will give you all the templates that has to be filled, which reflect to the practices and the evidence you have in the organization that under these 7 principles. I hope you enjoyed this short session about a briefly introductory about the ISO, and also we'll see you in next session.